Hello, fancy seeing you here. G'day, and welcome back to another video from Alex Does. We're back in the bush at the site here for another couple of days. We're actually here for something I haven't done before since coming to this site. Actually, I don't think I've done it anywhere. I'm staying for three days, 2 nights, 3 days. 2 nights, 3 days. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if we don't get rained out, because obviously you may or may not be aware, if you live in Australia, obviously you would know, although the time difference between me filming this video and you actually seeing this video kind of removes some of the relevance. That's the unfortunate effect of filming up to a month in advance, unfortunately. But yes, so for my reality right now, for the last 2 weeks it's been nothing but torrential rain across all of New South Wales, once in a 100-year flooding all over the place, and today is the first dry day we've had in about 2 weeks. It only stopped raining about 12 hours ago, so everything is absolutely wet. So it's been fortunate that this window in the weather lined up with my plans to come out, because I was coming out regardless. That is my commitment to you. I didn't care how wet it was going to be, how much it was raining. I was coming hell or high water to film some content for you guys and hopefully get a little bit more construction done on the site. So anyway, just turned up to site. I haven't set anything up yet. I haven't even got my chair out, haven't even gone and got my water yet, and yeah, there's a little bit of damage from the rain, obviously the rain, which I guess is to be expected. We've been pretty fortunate all the way through. There's been periods of rain, and there's never been any real sort of detriment to the build, but there's been some damage this time round from the rain, as you would expect, and of course it's to the fireplace. It's only minor though, don't panic, but I'll show you what I have walked into here that I'm going to have to do a little bit of repair on. So let's go look at it and then discuss what's going on. So first off, as we come into the site, we've got water. Water, water, water. Over here where I have my tent is dry, well, it's damp. It's wet, but it's not soaking wet, so it's okay. But yeah, we've got pooled water all the way through here. Now the reason why that's happened is because even though I'd extended on that previous video, extended the tarp, it's not quite enough to cover the end of the fireplace. So water has come off the tarp here onto the fireplace here and then run in through here, and we've got pools of water here. So that is something I want to deal with today, because we are forecast to have more rain coming tomorrow. So I want to extend that out by another 6 inches or a foot so that it does cover this. But what's happened, if you can have a look down here, you can see obviously the rain has now flushed that clay out from between the rocks and flushed it all down into here. It's this kind of sandy, muddy clay mix. Now whether that happened because I didn't fire any of this, or it might have happened even if I had fired it, I don't really know. Obviously it's had buckets and buckets and buckets of rain over the last 2 weeks coming down onto here, so for that to be the only damage, I suppose I should be fairly grateful. On the outside it's not too bad. You can see where it's protected underneath rock, it's stayed there. It's obviously still soft and wet, so that gives me hope for the future, because when I first saw that I thought, oh, this is just a sign of things to come. What's going to happen now is every time it rains, even if I build it up this high, every time it rains, is it just going to flush all the clay out from in between the rock and then it's going to collapse? I mean, that may still happen. But I don't know, I'm kind of a little bit hopeful, especially after it's had some heat and some fire put through it, that it may still be a little bit resilient and may be just needing occasional maintenance to keep it in place. So yeah, like I said, so today on the list of things that must be done, I want to get an extra foot out here on the tarp to cover that, so we don't have that happening again in the future. And then I need to dig all the clay out from inside that's been washed out, dig all that clay out and get it back in between all these rocks. And the other thing is the pit, the small hole where I was digging the clay, out. If you have a look over here, I now have a swimming pool. So yeah, I'm going to need to get that water out if I'm going to continue digging in there. I could dig another hole, but I think even if I dig another hole, it's quickly going to fill up with water, because obviously what the situation you have here is where you've got, you know, a layer of topsoil sitting on top of layer of clay, is the water, as you go up the hill behind us here, the water very quickly soaks in through the topsoil, comes to the clay, and then doesn't soak in, or it's a lot slower to soak in. So it then runs down the hill in between those two layers. So you dig a hole down and it will start filling up with water. So we're just going to have to play that by ear. Fortunately, I did bring a bucket, so I'm just going to be able to scoop the water out of there as best I can and get down to the clay layer. We'll see how we go with that, but priority is still going to be the roof tarp and repairing the damage. But before any of that, I'm going to go and get my water. I'm interested to see what the effects are on the creek. Obviously it's had 12 hours to kind of settle and die down. I'm really not expecting anything too dramatic, because the catchment area here isn't that big. These are kind of like feeder creeks into a larger creek down further downstream. So but anyway, I'm going to grab my bag, I'll grab you, we'll go down the creek and fill my water bag up. Let's go. Alright, well, there's definitely more volume in the creek. It's a lot wider than it was previously. We used to make an easy step over the creek just here, and that's a good 2 meters now. And yeah, we used to stand down there to get water. Now it's all the way up here. It's obviously receded quite a bit though, because I actually think it looks like the water has come all the way up to here. So right, so it actually looks like the water's come all the way up to here. That's where the water's come up to, which is, my feet are about level with the camera. So where I was standing there was level with the camera, and the camera's sitting about 4 foot off the ground, off the tripod, and the tripod's about at least a foot and a half off the creek. So that's about a 5 foot increase over where it is now, or probably over where it was before. So that's pretty impressive. I wish I was here to see it, I really do. Obviously that can introduce a few dangers, but you know, common sense takes you a long way. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to get some water. Alright, that wasn't so bad. I'm quite confident once we get a fire in there for a few hours, that's going to dry nice and hard. So next thing I need to do is source some clay. I've got enough rocks here to chuck some more on top before do anything else. Let's do that. So I'm just starting to hit the clay layer now. You can see a good 8 inches to a foot below the surface. But as I mentioned before, you can see already water just streaming in here. I've only really just started, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a hindrance or do me a favour really, because I've got to mix the stuff with water anyway. Yeah, so time will tell. I'm going to take a break for 10 minutes and we'll come back and see how much water gets in here in 10 minutes. I'm going to start digging in the clay content on this. It's not the best yet, but it's good enough to make a start. It'll get better as I get deeper. So I'm going to just got this cheap collapsible bucket here. I'm going to fill that up and take it over the fireplace. Alright, next I just want to come up with a arrangement of rocks without any mud first, so I can kind of, you know, configure them the best I can. I'm just going to have to, let me get in here. I'm just going to have to use up the rocks that I've got, because with the creek so swollen, all the rocks I need are on the other side of that creek. So yeah, I'm just going to use the rocks I've got for now. Alright, so I've got more around this side than that side, because I'm trying to, there's a few gaps there that I'm just trying to level out a little bit. I don't know. Again, I'm just making this up as I go. So let's get, there's some mud in between all this stuff. Alright, that's another course of rock done, pretty much. Good enough for now. I've got a fair bit of mud there left, at least enough for another half a course, so I'm just going to stop for a breather and keep going until I run out of mud. And then I'll make some more mud until I run out of stone. And at that point I'll shift my focus to moving the tarp, cutting some firewood before it, although I was going to say before it rains, but there was some clouds before, but they've all gone pretty much. Anyway, all the wood's wet, so I'm going to have to cut some firewood. I've got nothing dry that's cut. And once the tarp's shifted, I've run out of mud or clay, or I've got to the point where I've had enough and I don't want to do anymore. We'll get a fire going in there and get that lot baking this time. And yeah. Again, I'm happy with the progress. And don't forget, if you're watching this for the first time, if you're watching me for the first time, or you're new to any of my videos, and you do this sort of thing for a living, and you're watching this going, this guy's got no idea what he's doing, I freely admit, many times in my videos, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just using what resources I've got available to me, applying a little bit of logic, kind of making things up as I go. If they work, that's a bonus. If they don't, I'm fully prepared for that, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to have a quick break, and then we'll use up the rest of this mud and the stone and get another layer on there. But I like it so far. Alright, so I'm happy with that for now, for today's progress. It'll do. It's as I'm building up and pushing down on these, it's starting to wobble around a bit, so I really want to get this clay set. It's a good, you know, I know 8 inches deep now, so that's not bad. Leach. So that's not bad, so I'm just going to focus now on getting this tarp pulled over so we don't get rained on, and then we'll get some fire in there, eh? Alright, there we go, tarp is sorted. You can see that well and truly overhangs the fireplace now. I just used a stick to put a bit of a peak in the centre as well to obviously try and get the water running off more towards the sides. I'm not entirely happy with it, to be honest. Look, as soon as I started making any adjustments, nature decided to have a say, and big blustery wind started blowing, so it was a fight the whole way. So it's not the neatest job, that's for sure, but it's not going anywhere. It'll do. I think I'm just going to have to be a little bit careful with the size of the fire. I already burnt, last time I was here, I did put one little hole in the tarp. Look, I don't really care about, you know, as long as the tarp stays in place while I'm here. If I expect to put a few holes in it. It's not, you know, it's no issue. I can always get another tarp. But yeah, I just don't want it catching on fire while I'm here. So I mean, that's, if I stand in the fireplace, I'm 5'10", let's say 5'11", 5'10", so it's 6 foot off the fireplace. So kind of at the back it's a bit closer, so we're okay. It's never been an issue before. Just need to have a modest fire, nothing too flamboyant. Right, so I'm going to organise some wood. I'm going to have a break. I'm going to organise some wood. I've still got a good few, quite a lot of hours. So it's only 2 p.m, just gone 2 p.m. So, but I'd like to get a nice smouldering fire in there going, and start drying some wood out, because all the wood's really wet, really wet. So get some sort of fire going in here. I might maybe do some work on some of the drainage, and yeah, just see where the day see where the day takes me. Just while we're waiting for that fire to pick up, come and check out. We were looking at the water draining into this new hole, so it's there now. So I've got another swimming pool like the one that's up there, so oh, it's not too deep, you can still see the bottom. Nice clear water. So I suppose if you were dying of thirst, you're not going to have trouble finding water. Of course, there's a beautiful clear creek just down there, so you'd have to filter that stuff. Anyway, I'm going to tend to this fire, get it to where I want it, and then I think I'll probably spend a little bit of time between chilling out, and I might make some improvements to the drainage. Well, I don't mind saying that this fire has really kicked my butt over the last couple of hours. Just with everything being so wet, it's to be expected. And the first sort of wood that I started with, which was this light stuff at the bottom of the pile here, it was really slow to burn and get going and going and going. It would smoulder rather than burn, and the fire kept wanting to go out, and it took a lot of attention. But anyway, she's going now. There's a good bed of coals underneath all that, drying all that wood out. There's a lot there to burn through. I've kind of gone a bit nuts and created myself a decent fire stack, sorry, firewood stack I should say. So that'll definitely get me through tonight as far as I can see, fingers crossed anyway. So alright, I'm just going to kick back now. I need these coals to obviously now die down before I can start cooking any sort of food. It's just a fairly simple meal tonight because I'm staying for 2 nights. I was kind of limited on weight and space for food and anything like that, so just doing a couple of pork chops. What else have I got? I've got a sweet potato, an onion. The sweet potato's already on the edge of the fire there, roasting away. It's been on there for 45 minutes, but it's not quite in the heat yet. What else have I got? I've got like a packet rice mix. I don't know whether I'm gonna have that as well. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, just a very basic dinner today, nothing fancy. So I'm gonna kick back, have a couple of drinks, and yeah, just watch this fire. I still haven't set my tent up yet, but I'm just really stoked that I put some effort in and got that firewood cut. So I've moved my sweet potato down there. It's really hot in there actually. It's probably a bit close. Oh, same with the onions over there. And then we've got an apple here. Sorry, smoke in my eyes. Ugh. Can't wait to have a chimney. Yeah, I just thought I'd do an apple in there as well because I'm doing pork chops. So I thought, oh, maybe if I roast an apple and mix it with the onion, it'd be nice with the pork chop. Who knows? Gotta give it a go. Well, it seems yet again my poor planning, or just not really my poor planning, just as the environment that we're in, the fact that we're kind of surrounded by very tall trees that steal the sunlight very early in the day, and obviously the cover here and everything like that means that I I'm going to be doing dinner in the dark, I think. I'm not sure if you can even see me now. It's going to be a little while before I do the meat. The potatoes coming along quite well. That's feeling a little bit soft in places and quite good, but the onion and the apple have not been in there that long. It's very, very hot there though. Like, yeah, it's about as long as I can hold my hand there. So yeah, very hot, and you can see, which is even better, signs of the clay drying on the sides there, which is a bonus. So I might actually chuck a bit more wood on that. And yeah, so I think it's probably going to be a good hour before I start cooking my meat. And the sun has already, for me, has gone. We step outside, obviously it's still lighter outside. I can just see the sun through there. While we talk about getting dark, I have myself a new bit of kit. Again, hope you can see me in here at the moment, but this is to do with the lighting. Now, a wise man once told me,
only if you're a real man of bushcraft will you understand why a lantern is necessary.
So obviously I want to be a real man of bushcraft. So I went and got myself a lantern. Only a small one. There we go. Truth be told, I just thought some lighting at night time from a naked flame, other than the fireplace of course, would add a nice ambience, depending on your persuasion. Anyway, so I thought that'd be cool. I've just made this little hanger up here for it. And yeah, I tested it the other night at home, and I was surprised by how much light those things give off. But anyway, I'll put that on later once it gets a bit darker, which isn't going to be too far away, probably by the time I start cooking my dinner. And yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. But I'll probably end up with a couple of those, maybe one in each corner or something like that. Like, imagine once the place is completely enclosed, it's going to be very dark in here, very dark. So colonial style lighting. There we go. All right, well, onion is awesome. Well, they're definitely cooked nice. Cooked all the way through. Yum. Man, I love pork chops on a fire. Alright. It's not bad. There's some crackling. Yeah. I'm not fussy at the moment. I just want to eat. I'll bring you back when I'm done. Alright, there we go. There's the aftermath of that dinner. I wouldn't certainly give it a 10 out of 10. Everything was cooked good. Anyway, yeah, it was okay. It was better. It was pretty, pardon me. Obviously I ate it all, so it can't have been that bad. So it's pretty good. So my task for tonight from this point onwards is to get this fire built up again, burning around the extremities of the fireplace, and try and start drying out some of that clay. And then hit the sack and go to bed. So I'm going to take this opportunity to say goodbye. Thank you for coming along on this video. I certainly appreciate you being here. thank you to those long-term subscribers, and if you're not subscribed and you like this sort of content, some genuinely Australian bushcrafting, middle-aged, unhealthy, fat guy trying to do shit in the bush, and that appeals to you, what am I saying? I don't know. Anyway, if this sort of content appeals to you, please like, please subscribe, please hit that bell for notification, throw a comment down below. I do respond to all comments. I thoroughly appreciate you being here, and I will see you next Saturday at 8 AM New South Wales, whatever it is, standard Eastern Daylight Saving Time probably still. Take care, be good. Hooroo. Alright, so I've filled my backpack. Here's probably the heaviest load I've ever done. Probably not the greatest time to be getting the heaviest load I've ever done. So, oh Jesus, fingers crossed getting across this, eh? Let's go.